I go through all kinds of colored brochures and stuff, and I talk about things as related to obesity, whether it be, presentation on what visceral fat does to the body, diabetes, heart disease. But I just wanted to, over the last couple of weeks, as I was gearing up for 2015, I decided to sit down in my office, and I went through the top 10 or 12 questions that come up twice a day, 3 times a day. I don't know why I've never done it before. When people call me, I get calls, they're always the same. I was referred by blank, and I'd like to do your program. That happens most often. It's not that I'd like information. The number one thing is I was called by so-and-so and I wanted to do your program. I was referred by so-and-so. I want to come in for a consult. I was referred by Dr. so-and-so, and he said, if you can't help me, no one can. I read your article in Blank magazine, or I pass by your office all the time. I heard about you through the community, or hi, I would just like some information. Everybody that does call, even if they say I was referred by so-and-so and I have to come in and join the program, I don't make any appointments unless I spend time with somebody on the phone. If I happen to, if I have to call them back and they're not available, I won't make an appointment with anybody unless I spend a good half hour with them on the telephone, because even if somebody thinks that they want to do my program, they're dead sure of it, they don't care what it costs. I need to talk to them and really give them as any salesperson would do, and make sure they understand what they're getting into, and I do mean that the way you're thinking it right now. I want to try to scare them into coming in to see me, and I say that really in jest, but I really want them to understand that we're no drive-through, and it's not going to be easy, and it's not going to be quick. And so I just went through some of the questions that they're always the same, regardless of who they are, and I'm just randomly, they're really in no particular order. One of them is the program restrictive in any way? My answer is always the same. Restrictive as opposed to what? The way you've been eating thus far, which is why you're obese now? It's the truth. I say it just that way because they're already projecting that they can't do it. I understand that. I'm no spring chicken. I have the wisdom of experience and age, and that's why they're asking that question. So my answer to them is, to have absolutely no restrictions to eat means to eat what you want, when you want, as much as you want, as little as you want, or not at all. That's why you're calling me. Those habits don't work, not only for weight loss, but you're not going to feel well, you're not going to age well, and you certainly will not lose weight. So it's not restrictive to eat from all the food groups. Proteins, vegetables, fruits, milk and dairy, grains and fats every day. There's nothing restrictive about it. And people need to learn about portion control, not only to lose weight, but more importantly, to keep it off. Losing weight, that's the easy part. Keeping it off, staying slim and keeping it off, that's where all the work comes in. The next question always is, will I have to measure my food? Yes. It doesn't mean you can't go out to eat at all. It doesn't mean you have to live your life as a hermit, but it does mean that you need to control the environment that you're in every single time that you possibly can, because if you never control your environment, if you never plan ahead, if you never prepare what you need, if you always wing it, you will never, ever, ever have success at losing weight or even in your own business. You have to always have a plan for something. You have to have first you have to have a vision of what you want to look like. Then you have to have a plan of how you're going to get there. Whether it's with me, whether it's with Alan, for example, you have to see what you want to look like, what you need repairing, and then you go and fix it, because obviously you've all heard the expression, if you always do what you've always done, you always get what you always got, and ain't that the truth? What about exercise? Another question. Exercise is not part of our program. I tell the same thing to everybody, but of course the type of exercise you choose to do is completely up to you. It's between you and your physician, especially if you're very overweight and do not exercise at all. But can you lose weight? I'm not an exercise person. I don't care if somebody never goes to the gym. It's not what I do. Can a person lose weight without exercise? Absolutely. Can you lose weight only with exercise? Absolutely not. It is not possible. You cannot out-exercise a bad diet. Ain't happening in this lifetime or any other. So the point is, when people come to me, a lot of times, especially if they only have the time and the resources, financially and also time, if they're very busy to do one thing at a time, they need to start with me first. Not because I'm trying to steal the business of a personal trainer or a gym, But there are many times people, okay, they finally got it, something happened in their life, they don't feel well, and now they're on it, they made the appointment, they come in, they're dropping $1,500 with me or whatever it is, and then they're gonna go to the Atlantic Club and they're gonna spend $2,000 there, they're gonna fail at both. It is not possible to stop drinking and smoking at the same time. Not. I'm just using that as a metaphor. You have to do one thing first and then move on. So I will tell, I'm not trying to talk anybody out of getting into a good exercise regimen. Listen, it's a great habit to get. You know, you have 75 pounds to lose. Let's get 20 pounds off. Let's get you in a routine. You're feeling a little bit more confident about yourself and the way you look, and then go to the gym or wherever it is you want to go. Another question. I know someone who lost weight with you, but they gained all their weight back. Why did that happen? Like, it's my fault. They didn't even meet me yet. First of all, you don't know how much weight they had to lose. You don't know if they got to the goal weight we set for them if they dropped out. If somebody drops out of the program before they reach a goal weight that I set without going through stabilization and maintenance, I will put it in writing on your first meeting with me. You will gain every pound back and more. You have to get to your goal weight. I set the goal weight for people. I don't let anybody tell me what they want to weigh. If it's the slimmest that they've ever been, or if it's the slimmest that they want to be, it ain't happening. I won't even take them as a client. So that's the difference between me and everybody else. I have to go to sleep at night with my with my head good with God. And if I'm taking somebody's money, it's got to be because I know I can get them where they need to be, and more importantly, that I can keep them there. Can someone pay me and then drop out and not show up again? That's fine. Obviously there's no contract, but I already have their money, so what the hell? I have the same amount of weight to lose as my friend. She told me she paid you $800. Is that what it will cost me? First of all, you may think you have the same amount of weight to lose as your friend, but we're going to determine that. Second of all, you don't know your friend's weight. You don't know their exact height. You don't know their medical issues unless you have all the information about. There's a lot that goes into how every program is custom. So if somebody is having a medical issue, they're just diagnosed with diabetes, infertility, endometriosis, cancer, believe me, they're not sharing it with you. They're just not. They're not telling you about things that they have, and we have to take all of that into consideration when we're setting someone's program. Do you take insurance? No, wouldn't do it if I could. My question to somebody is, are you really looking to do the work of losing weight in a manner that gives you the best chance of getting slim and healthy and keeping it off? Or are you looking for a place that will take your insurance and say, what the heck, I'll give it a shot? Not my client. That's not my client. That's not my demographic. And people have to realize that whatever program their insurance might cover is definitely going to put a cap on it, on the number of visits they'll allow, which means that person now has, say, 13 weeks, 13 visits. They have to stretch that out really a long time in order to make it last longer, which means whoever they're seeing that's taking their insurance will see them infrequently. I see my clients 2 to 3 times a week in private, and I'm available 24/7 with my home and my cell phone number. So that's that question. How much time? Okay, here's the one that I'll just spend the last minute on this. I hear that you're really tough, and I don't know if you know this, but I hear that you're referred to as the diet Nazi. Is that true? Now, it is true, and it is true, and I'm following the good footsteps. My mother earned that title in Brooklyn, and she's revered there now. My response always is the same right off the bat. One person's tough is the next person's truthful. I'm 100% guilty of the latter. What does that mean in my office? In my office, it means that I'm old enough and wise enough to know the difference between talking to a 40-year-old overweight client and a 10-year-old. And the difference is I tell it like it is to the adult. I let it rip to the parent of an obese kid in private. I don't do that in front of the kid. And I make sure that a teenager owns it. Because a teenager is old enough to do for themselves what needs to be done, and I'm not going to let their parents light a match to their money, because I get paid well. And I work very hard myself, and I don't like anybody lighting a match to my money. In terms of children, I'm a mom. I love my daughter to death. I speak to her firmly, but I don't yell at her, I don't scream at her, I don't call her names, but I treat these kids like they're my own. And let me tell you something, there's a lot of crying that goes on with some of these kids. Not to talk for another time. To an obese woman, I got to tell her, when she says to me, does your weight bother your husband? Which I always ask. No, I wish it would bother him. My husband's as slim as the day we got married. He hasn't gained a pound. I wish it would bother him. Mrs. Schwartz, it bothers him. Okay, you're living in a fantasy world if you don't think that he wants the woman that he married. The parent of an obese kid who tells me that it's not their fault. Oh, yes, it is. And that's the first thing that I'm going to say when I meet with the parent in private, which happens all the time. You're not going to get along with me, and your son or daughter is not going to do well unless you understand. This is like going to an AA meeting. This is your fault. Hi, my name is Mrs. Schwartz, and I am an enabler of an obese kid, and it's my fault. Now, once you say that, we can move on. Other than that, you're going to waste your time here. Sometimes they get defensive. Sometimes they cry because they're relieved to get it out. I don't really care about the consequences of it. I'm doing my thing, and I'm the big man upstairs is always watching. The parent who tells me their pediatrician said that they'd be happy if their kid lost 20 pounds when they need to lose 70. Is this the same doctor who didn't say anything when your kid was 10 pounds overweight? So there you go. That's why they call me the diet Nazi. But I'm in business for 30 years. You must be doing something right.